brother was among the victims in last month's plane crash in Pakistan. 98 people were killed when a Pakistan International Airlines flight went down in the southern city of Karachi. Atif holds the airline responsible.
Qatar says it is concerned by the report that nearly a third of Pakistan's civil pilots in the civilian fleet have been flying using what's called fake licenses. IATA is calling it a serious lapse and oversight. Pakistan International Airlines says it has grounded about 150 pilots and says the problem is industry-wide.
He is an aircraft accident investigator and a former squadron leader of the Pakistan Air Force. Thanks so much for being with us. How pervasive is this practice of issuing fake licenses? Had you heard of it before this report came out?
David Susi is our aviation safety analyst and joins me now. When we say fake licenses, what do we mean? Are they knocking something up on Photoshop?
Let me ask you this before I let you go. I mean, I imagine that you have seen the simulation and actually heard the cockpit recordings from this crash. I actually have. I want to ask how shocked you were to hear how disconnected, the pilots seemed from the severity of the situation before that plane crashed.
We are comfortable now, and we are out of 3,500 for 3,000. Established ILS 25 left. Sir, we are established on ILS 25 left. So you are 5 miles from touchdown, distance passing 3,500. But 303 clear line 25 left. Roger, Pakistan
303 going wrong.
We report reaching altitude 3,500 feet. For Pakistan 303, we would like to come again for ILS 25 left. Descend left heading 110, climb 3,000. Left heading confirm. Left heading 110, climb 3,000. 110, climb 3,000, Pakistan 8303. You are jumping altitude 2,000. Sir, we have just give me 2,000. So maintain 2,000. 8303, most rally showing 1,800 feet at descent. Sir, copy, sir. We are now maintaining, trying to maintain. 8303 approach. Ji, sir. Appears to be turning left. We'll proceeding back, sir. We have lost engines. Confirm you are carrying out belly landing?
Runway available to land at 25. Roger. Clear, Mayday, Pakistan 8303. Pakistan 8303, Roger, sir.
They do this. What's the point?
No one really knows. Why does anyone take the shortcut? It is terrible for the pilots that really did do it the right way, and I've already heard from some of those pilots in Pakistan, good pilots that did it the right way and took the test properly and passed it. It makes them look bad. There's no reason for them to look bad for this. This is actually a problem with the CAA oversight, the Civil Aviation Authority in Pakistan, who didn't verify that the people that were taking these tests were actually the same people that were there at the testing center. So why they do this, there's a number of reasons. It is not an easy test to take. That written test is extremely difficult. I just renewed my pilot's license as well recently, my unmanned aerial vehicle pilot's license, and that test took a lot of study. And the only reason I can think someone would want to cheat on this is just simply they don't think they know the information, or they're just not prepared enough for it.
Meanwhile,
well, there had been rumors before at hand, but very specific. If we look at the incident itself and post-incident analysis or the preliminary report that has come across, it's been very specifically stated by the aviation minister that there are dubious licenses which are there, which are once again of critical nature, criminal offense as being taken in the dock itself. There will be consequences for people, certainly with the passage of time.
There have been at least 10 plane crashes in Pakistan in the past 17 years. Preliminary investigations suggest the crash in May was caused by human error. Investigators found the pilots were discussing the coronavirus pandemic minutes before attempting to land and reportedly ignored instructions by the air traffic controller. The investigation also cast doubts over pilot training. Licensing too has come under the spotlight after the aviation minister revealed nearly 1 in 3 of Pakistan's pilots could have acquired licenses through fraud.
No, Richard, it's actually not that at all. These pilots have gone through their training. They've actually got hours beneath them. And then when it comes time to get the testing, the written tests that they take, they ask someone else to do it for them. So they're basically cheating on the test is what this is implying.
Well, why did it's raised the question? I mean, the size and scale of this. Obviously, there's also the question of whether examiners were involved, whether the authorities have turned blind eyes, and, to put it crudely, whether bribes have been paid to get some of these licenses. I think you'd agree this is not a safe way to proceed.
Absolutely not. And you would think that there has to be some kind of bribery or something to gain in this. If you follow the money trail, no one's going to do this for free for someone else just as a favor. This is obviously something that when there were involved that many people, this is something that was a systemic process. It's a process that someone knew about. Obviously, a lot of people knew about it. To have that many pilots involved in it. So this CAA, they have their hands full right now with trying to redo how they look at oversight and safety and pilot issuing and oversight.
Out of 860 pilots, there are 262 licenses, and exams are dubious. It includes PIA and other private airlines. Some are also employed by international airlines.
150 pilots have been grounded immediately and inquiries initiated against the rest.
Every year. Why were they even issued? This is a big question. On behalf of Pakistan Airline Pilots Association, we do not endorse, we do not accept any dubious method in obtaining this license. So we definitely demand a transparent inquiry into this, and we should be informed who these people are and all the people involved, whether they're in the Civil Aviation Authority or the individuals involved.
Experts believe corruption within Pakistan's aviation industry runs much deeper.
In many cases, I've corrupt pilots' licenses that I've seen. There has been institutional corruption, and there's just several disconnections within the system that usually it takes the investigators going back through everything with a fine-tooth comb later on to find out.
During his election campaign, Prime Minister Imran Khan had promised wide-ranging reforms and transparency in the running of the national carrier. But 2 years on, there have been no major changes to combat endemic corruption. It's not just the pilots. Claiming false academic credentials is a much wider issue in Pakistan. Even the minister who revealed the dubious license holders was himself suspended previously for holding a fake diploma. The crash investigation has recommended scrutiny and analysis of aircrew records related to fitness, licensing, training records, and information about crew scheduling and rest periods during the previous month.
Yes, the CVR recording or the cockpit voice recorder is very specific. The talk between the outside agency, which is the air traffic control, and the pilots themselves, it is shocking. There's no questions asked. We have problems of grave nature. Once again, an unstable approach. Continuing that unstable approach till we hit the runway instead of the tires or the gears, hitting the runway with the engines, and then ensuring that it goes around after even doing that, and then going into the ground short of the runway, initiating another approach. The factors are crucial, yes, but what led them to ensure or enable them to go into such a state, that is what is critical. Why part of this whole accident is of the most important aspect that can come across.